Hello, welcome to writing. Okay, I know this one sounds strange. You've reached university. You've gone through all those years of school. You know how to write. Well, believe it or not, you probably do. But there are probably some tips that you will get from this, hopefully get from this video that will help you improve your writing and better get the grades you deserve for the work you're going to put in. So, without much further ado, me and that N button have a very, very touchy relationship. So, who else asking what do we do? As I've said before and in our videos, our purpose is to check your work. We are not proofreaders, but we will, because we won't check the content, although we will give pretty strong hints if you need to go and check to get the content checked by a supervisor. But we will check the grammar, check the spelling, check the punctuation, check whether you have the referencing in the right place, talk about the style, the presentation, and generally check pretty much everything else. So it's email sask@kingston.ac.uk, or we have a module on Canvas. Both are great places and very useful. So, hope that helps. Please do remember the keywords. I know I bring this up in every single video, but content, content, content. It's kind of like a play on Channel 4's location, location, location. Content, content, content matters. You have to get the right amount and of the right quality of content to deliver the right grades in writing. Writing technique. So, how to structure a paragraph. I would always teach you SEAL, which is statement, evidence, analysis, link. Okay. So here's the very simple point, and I'm going to do this in a way which hopefully will not cut off from the top of my head. Statement tells me what the paragraph is about. Evidence, that's the content. Analysis. How does the evidence relate to your argument? How does the evidence relate to the question? Now, here's a point. If those two things are different in one paragraph, it doesn't matter. It's probably just good context you're adding in. If they're different in two paragraphs, that's starting to get a bit of a worry. If it's 3 or 4 paragraphs, you're no longer answering the question, you are talking about something completely different, and you need to go back and restart. Because if your argument is not relating to the question, so how does this evidence relate to your argument is not the same as how does the evidence relate to the question, then you have gone off topic. That's why you ask those two questions, because that is the way you check whether you are still keeping to the topic. If you're doing a dissertation, how does that evidence fit in context? i.e., in my words, if you're talking about bridges, how do the bridges next door work? Or other bridges in similar scenarios? That is what you'd be talking about. And then, link. Okay. All right, so when I have students who link at the end of the paragraph back to the question and then move on to a new topic, the link back to the question is analysis. That's how does the evidence relate to the question? B, it means that reading that work becomes literally like reading the equivalent of falling down a set of stairs and bashing my head all the way. Every single paragraph goes, doom, new topic, doom, new topic, doom. It's almost physically painful. And I'm not talking about the first one. The first one is fine. But after we've read 30, 40 like it, or 100 or whatever, it's really, really painful. And it's really bad communication because it slows down the reading. It's sort of going, oh, we're in a new topic. Oh, we're in a new topic. And if you slow down the reading, we're more likely to notice errors. We are far more likely. If a marker is not slowed down, if the smoother and better you make the linking so that the essay flows nicely the whole way through, the faster a marker will read it through, and their first impression will probably be, this is great. You want markers to read through and mark your work as quickly as possible, clearly seeing all the good points, which is why SEAL is useful. It tends to generate more but smaller paragraphs, which clearly highlight the key points you are making and your analysis. And if you link to the next paragraph properly so that it flows, so that, what do they have in common? So it flows through, so they read through it quickly. They will go away with a very good impression, and you will get a very high mark. They might not have noticed where you've got some typos or where you've got commas in the wrong place, or all those particular little issues which can be in there, especially not after their 10 to 20 essays into marking, okay? So you want to make the essay flow. SEAL. Now, themes. Okay. It tends to be better to group your paragraphs together in themes, especially if the amount of students who try to do one paragraph per topic and that paragraph then stretches over 2 or 3 pages. That's not good, okay? I can't see in that one where the clearly defined points of evidence, analysis, and linking are. You can't get any structure marks, but also you're bearing your analysis marks, you're bearing your evidence marks because it's such a huge chunk of text. So if I have, let's say my simple themes I'm going for are agree, disagree, and context. I might have 4 paragraphs which agree with a statement made in the question, 4 which disagree with a statement made in the question, and 4 which are context. And they will be grouped together in those sets of 4. It could be economic, social, political. It can be structural. It can be, structural, all sorts of different things. It can be. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember the engineering one I tend to use. Structural, geotechnical, and materials. Or material. It can be whatever you want those 3 themes to be, but you want it to be 3 themes, and you want to group your paragraphs together because it looks better, it reads better, and it's nicer. Plus, it then fits with this. The big advantage of SEAL. Introductions. An opening statement. And by the way, if you are worried and you don't like making opening statements, there are huge quote books, and there is a whole multiple websites which are full of quotes. You can always put up a quote directly from someone, make sure you reference where you've got it from, and then you can use that as your starting point. That's fine. Then you give us an overview, a sentence about each of your themes. So it signposts clearly which section will be getting the agree or disagree in the first theme. Then will it be, what will come next and what will come next. That is the point. And then a run-in. It's the first link. Make it good. Next big advantage of SEAL. Conclusions. Okay. So again, you want a statement. Then you want critical evidence X plus 1. So from each of the themes, you pick one piece of evidence. You say these are the most important pieces of evidence. But you pick one more extra piece of evidence from the theme you agree with. Okay? So you've said these are the 4 most important pieces of evidence. This is a bit of a cheat technique, but it works. So you have demonstrated critical thinking because not only have you selected what evidence has come into your essay, you've then selected from that evidence what are the 4 most important pieces of essays and what are the 4 most important pieces of evidence. And then you take that and if you consider it to have a mathematical formula. So let's say those which agree with my perspective are +1. Those which disagree with my perspective are -1. That which comes from the context theme is 0, or the third theme is 0. So the mathematical value of this is 2 minus 1 plus 0 equals 1. So evidence or the critical evidence balance out agreeing with what I wanted it to agree with. It's cynical, but it works. Summary ties them all together, and then if you are in doubt in any way, shape, or form, you do not want to know how many of the students lose marks for not doing this, make sure you actually have answered the question. Okay? Just make sure you've answered the question. It seems terrible to say it, but it does need to be done. Right, here's some more planning. I know. I talked about planning in a whole specific, generic research way. This is planning in a writing way. So you've got revision plans on your left. It's always good to do revision plans if you're getting ready for essay exams or if you're quickly putting them together for an essay. And exam plans listed there. Now, the thing about the revision plans, you can also use those for planning coursework and dissertations if you are time managing, i.e., if you do not have your life completely free and you can set aside 3 weeks, nothing, no distractions, nothing else in life, just to work in your dissertation, that's lovely. But if you can't, if you're like me and pretty much everyone else, and you have to juggle multiple commitments, family, all sorts of things, work, other jobs, then you want a detailed plan that you can use, that you can tick off as you go, and that you can jump about, because if the information, let's say the book, or if you're doing a dissertation, your primary information which you're gathering, maybe labs, we can always hope in labs if they're opened, but if not in labs, then in other systems, surveys, interviews, whole sorts of reams of books, all sorts of different sources you can use for the material. If that hasn't come in, you can skip ahead to sections you can do. The point is you have a nice list you can tick off. Now, I'm not saying you should use this instead of a mind map. In fact, I love mind maps as a way of getting information out there. But mind maps are often not the easiest tool unless you're very, very confident in them to use to structure your time. A linear plan like this you can use to structure your time and keep track of your progress. You can tick off what you've done and what you haven't done. You can make your life that much easier to balance. You can keep track of your progress. Have you done enough work this week? Have you not done enough work this week? Always make sure you have a check-in day when you're doing a long project, which is going to be over a few months in every week. So usually I suggest a Thursday is a good check-in day, because it's not the end of the week. So if you aren't keeping progress, you aren't where you want to be that week, you've got time to catch up, and you're not going to feel like you're going into the next week already behind. But it's not so early in the week that you won't have done anything, so your brain's going to go, well, I couldn't have any chance of getting it done now anyway. So Thursday's a good day, but pick your own day. So that was SASC. I hope you found it helpful. I hope they found the writing tips useful, and good luck. Hope you're enjoying King's University. I'm gonna let this go on for a couple more seconds because I don't want it to be 13 minutes long. Not that I'm superstitious or anything.